Vishwatvayev Najatusi Sarve Vidya Yatayu Sarve Vidya Nishideshu Yatayu Reva Kinkara. That means translation is Krishna is the origin of Vishnu. One should always remember Krishna and never forget him. All the rules in the Gopin visions are centered around this one principle. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So when we can perform that activity, then we are said to be in pure consciousness. When we, I'm not used to that thing. When we cannot remember Krishna, when we think about it, it gets louder and louder. So if we can't think about Krishna, then we must be thinking of something else. So the scriptures encourage the practitioner to have a lifestyle such that in whatever circumstance he or she is in, they are able to remember the Supreme Lord. And whatever they do, they don't forget that I should not forget Krishna. So that's how one's activities, one's lifestyle have to be cultivated, actually. According to Srila Prabhupada and our previous teachers or acharyas, they have actually formulated a plan for us so that we will not fail in executing this principle. And it's a very simple activity. They have encouraged, or since 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first came, he introduced what we call the Sankirtan movement. Sankirtan. The Sankirtan means you are able to do or glorify the Supreme Personality completely. And the best way of doing it is through the process of chanting the holy names of the Lord. Regardless of whatever it is, Rupa Goswami, he explains that the very first stage of surrender is one takes up chanting. That is humility also. I'm willing to chant someone's name. Right? And in this case, the name of the Supreme Lord. So, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that when we chant the holy name, then we are remembering Krishna. And when we are chanting the name of the Supreme Lord, just as we are remembering, we are not forgetting Him because we are doing the activity of trying to remember Him. So therefore, it is very important for all of us to chant the holy name. Now, in chanting the holy name, one can just say, all right, I chant one time. Hare Krishna. And then we can say, that's fine, I've done it. But actually, because we are so conditioned, particularly our mind, it's been so conditioned over so many years, even within this lifetime, you can see how your mind is conditioned. That it is attracted to certain things that may generally has nothing to do with spiritual activities. You can try it out, right? A lot of people like to do yoga and meditation. So you can sit in your home in a corner, lock yourself in the room, close your eyes, and then what are you going to think about? Most people think they can zone out or whatever. Oftentimes I've seen people trying to meditate, they fall asleep. Or if they try, they will say it's very hard because mind has a tendency to run around, constantly running around. Oh, did I forget this? Oh, what about that? I'm in my room. maybe my wife needs me, maybe my husband needs me. So your mind is thinking about various things, but actually the principle is always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. But while you want to do your spiritual activities, right, you forget that this is what I have to do. Okay, that's a signal for all of you to turn off your cell phone. So please do. Otherwise, it will make you remember something else and not Krishna. Right? You're in the temple. In the temple room, you want to remember Krishna and not forget Krishna. Actually, if the next anyone's cell phone goes off, if it rings, you put $100 in the donation box. So if you implement that rule, then you'll never forget, and you'll always remember. So just like if I would make such a rule, you will never forget. Once you hit hard, you're not going to forget. So similarly, in the practice of Krishna consciousness, we have regulative principles of religion. What is this regulative principles of religion? Regulative principles of religion is, in Sanskrit, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu-smaranam. Right? This main thing. Shravanam means to hear, and not just hear anything, but to hear the right things. For a spiritual practitioner, hearing the right things means we hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, or his devotees. And what do you hear about Krishna? His fame, his activities, his qualities, his form, like that. So we hear about that. And you may say, where can I get those information? Just turn around at the back, at the corner, there are plenty books there, and there's a lot of stuff about Krishna, Krishna's activities, his pastimes, his qualities. Similarly, there are books on his devotees also. Plenty books like that. Of how did they conduct their lifestyles? Why did they give up some things? Why did they take up another activity? Right? So this, by reading books, at least it will reinforce our convictions in wanting to develop the proper consciousness. Everything is a matter of consciousness. Srila Prabhupada would say, birds of feather flocks together, flock together. So if you mix around with people of a certain nature, hey, sure enough, you will also pick up those natures, right? One time, I've said this before, one time a disciple of Srila Prabhupada asked him, Srila Prabhupada, how do we become a pure devotee? And Prabhupada laughed and said, how do you become a drunk? Then he laughed again and he said, if you are with the drunkards, you will be a drunk. So similarly, if you are with devotees, you will be a devotee. Right? So, and if you take and consciously think about it through, you will make the right choices to be spiritual. But if you don't think about it, the chances are you will go with what your mind and senses will dictate. That's how it is, right? So just like if you see your teenage son or daughter, and then you tell them don't do something, but when they go to school, college, or their friends tell them, hey, you're a wimp, you're not doing this, you should be doing that. And then they have pressure, right? It's like that. So when you come to the temple, there's also a pressure, and the pressure is to be Krishna conscious. And you feel the pressure because you don't think about it. You feel that it's a burden when someone tells you what to do. But an intelligent person is meant to actively think about these things. I mean, you're all here because you're interested in spiritual life. Therefore, you should think about spiritual life. Right? It's not that this is for most people, they consider coming to a temple a social event. They think they can come here and, mix around, hey, I see you there, exchanging business cards, hey, did you get a good sale here? That's not the idea of coming to a temple. Temple has a place not of the material activities. And that's why in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we developed this atmosphere for people of like-mindedness, particularly if you are serious about developing your spiritual life. Otherwise, you don't have to come here. Honestly, you don't have to. You can go to so many places. What our founder, Srila Prabhupada, wanted is for genuine people who are interested in developing their consciousness at a certain level. Yeah, there's so many things that you're not sure about. There's so many things out there that you are unsure about. But we are very sure about how to give you Krishna consciousness. We have a methodology, and that works. It works if you follow it through. You cannot say, I did it for so many years and it didn't work. The problem is, if you read the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna that so many sages in the past have performed these activities and have they got results. So Arjuna, you will also get the results. And therefore, it follows that if we perform these activities as stated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we will also get the same result. So, the easy way to remember Krishna, apart from chanting every day, so Srila Prabhupada made it such that we chant how many rounds a day? 16 rounds, yeah. All right, for a beginner, this may be a challenge. So yeah, that's fine. You start at a certain fixed number. Generally, we recommend for a newcomer, all right, why don't you try it out, maybe 1 or 2 rounds. But after they say they can do it, we go in multiples of 4. It works, it's easy actually. If you can do 1, you can do 2. If you can do 2, you can do 3 and 4 and so on and so forth. So if you can do 4, you can do 8. And if you can do 8, you can do 16. Like that. So that's by chanting a fixed number, you're committing to that practice. Okay, I'm doing this number. Who am I doing it for? That's the other question you should ask. You're doing it for pleasing the Supreme Lord. And another point is you're doing it for your purification. The interesting thing is, if you go out of a spiritual environment, the tendency for the living entity is to be covered by the material nature. The living entity is known as Tatastha Shakti. Tatastha Shakti means he's marginal. Marginal towards the spiritual energy and towards the material energy. Bahiranga is a material and Antaranga is the spiritual energies. So he is easily attracted to either one of them. Because we are within this material world, predominantly we are exposed to the material energy. Therefore, when we go out into the material places, not of the spiritual activities or place, you will be affected by the material energy. And Krishna says that also to Arjuna. Later on you will read, as you're reading, which you should. he says that, Karanam Gunasangasya Sat Asatyonisat Janmashu. As you associate with the material nature, you are going to take up a certain particular kind of consciousness, and that is going to lead you into a particular kind of birth. Right? Be it a human being, animal, plants, insects, etc. Like so. So the reason for a temple and the activities is so that we can perform these activities without any external disturbances. It purifies our consciousness, it purifies our mental faculties. It allows us to immediately take up that process which is going to free us from bondage within this material world. If we go out without any kind of protection, we are going to be covered. And we will do anything that, turns our fancy. Right? Oh, I like this, I'll do that. Oh, it tastes good, and so on. So therefore, actually, if you go out there, there's no real rules and regulations. You can do anything you want, as long as it's within the boundaries of the local state laws. Right? You can get away with murder too. You can say you are not case, and then say, yeah, you are not. So the point is, here we are trying to do, not just only remember and not forget, we are also trying to establish a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to our scriptures, we find that when we decide to come into this material world, we had a relationship with the Supreme God. And it was a loving relationship. But because we became envious, we decided to give up that relationship and pursue our own career in the material world. Therefore, we are now stuck here, and we go through certain rates of happiness and distress. What is happiness for one person may be distressful for someone else. What is a distress for someone could be a happiness for someone else, right? It's like that. A businessman will make a big profit and then declare, you see, right? Every year each company says they make so much profit. One wonders who were the losers, right? So Krishna consciousness wants to free us from all these problems in this material world, because this is how this material world is set up to. It is like a chair, right? Let's say you have a nice chair. Let's say you go to this furniture shop, and get a nice chair. But then when you sit on it, one of the nails is sticking in it, and then you get hurt. You say, I don't like it. But then you really like the chair. When you sit on it again, but there's this pain there, but then you get up again. But if you really like the chair, that's the material world. We create a false sense of happiness here. True happiness, according to our scripture, is found only in the spiritual world. It's not here. And therefore, we should actively pursue that. And the best way is, as I said in the beginning, is to chant. Because it's a beginning stage. It purifies you. It clears away obstacles in your heart that is going to inhibit you from pursuing spiritual life fully. What I'm saying is no bull. You try it, you will get the results. Hey, no pain, no gain, as they say in Texas. That's where we are from. So another way is Krishna tells in the 9th chapter is Yat Karasi, Yat Asnasi, Yat Juhusi, Yat Tapasyati, Contain that Kursva Mat Arpanam. Mat Arpanam. Give. Whatever you do, whatever you perform, whatever austerities you take and do, you do it as an offering unto me. So therefore, let's say you go and buy some new clothing. First you have to think, I should get it purified. How do you get it purified? You should say, Krishna, I bought this, please, you purify. So that's offering it to Krishna. So it follows in the same way. You work. Why do you work? Most people live to work. But our life is meant for greater things. Right? So we have to understand why we are working. We are working because we have a family, we may have to pay bills, things like that. That's fine. Do that. But at the same time, we have to understand every living entity is Jivera Swarupoi, Krishnera Nityara. He is an eternal servant of Krishna. Therefore, you work to give them a sanctuary where they can perform Krishna conscious activities. As a parent, as a friend, as a well-wisher. You should always think that. Now, if you make friends who are not really sure about spiritual life, you give them a book, some Krishna consciousness. Tell them read that. They may say, why? You can say, well, I read it and it changed my life for better. And therefore I'm your well-wisher friend. I also want to share this with you. You're not obligated, but you can read and see it for yourself. Right? You can't force anybody, but you can encourage people. How long does the class usually go for? 6:30. So I'll stop here now and hand it over to Sham. Hello. Om Jnana Timirandasya. Namo Vishnu Krishna Namo Vishnu Krishna Srimati Vancha Kalpatarasya Upasya So I would like to take the opportunity to thank the management of it. Particularly, I know them for some time. Ben Dhatri Mataji and her husband RadhaKrishna, very successful businessman. But they have all decided that rather than just entangle into the material activity, they put those instructions into their life. And I see that they have dedicated to manage this temple. And any places you go, it's very easy to find the faults. This is not right, this is not right. But I have been witnessing that Nandati Mataji is putting minimum of 12 hours a day to see the welfare of the temple. So I would like to join with you to account for the day. And they have very committed and dedicated devotees that we see that how wonderfully, not only that because we are having a large community, we have a nice mixes in our community, but every single day, 365 days a year, anytime you come. We have sets of 7 offerings to the Lord. It's beginning from 4:30 in the morning up to 10 p.m. at night. And also we offer the food 7 times. 3 is the main course. 1 is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And whoever comes to the temple, they are most welcome to take the remnants that left by the Supreme Personality of God. So we can see that a lot of effort goes. I'm managing the temple in Houston, and I know that it's not an easy task. It's easy to say something, but when you have to execute it, take a lot of courage, a lot of patience. And I really
pleased with the dedications, and we wish them the best of luck to carry on with task-like service to the Supreme Personality God, to render unflinching faith and devotion to the Supreme God. As RadhaKrishna Prabhu was mentioning, that we should remember always RadhaKrishna and never forget them. Why? Why should we remember all the time? Huh?
So you can remember them at the time of your death.
Right, very nice. The Mataji answer that we should remember always Radha and Krishna, because if we are remembering, then we will remember at the time of death. What is the mortality rate for us? What is the mortality rate? 100%. Everyone who comes in this material world is destined to leave this world. We are just here for some time. Like it mentions that our life is like the two wooden logs float in the river, and by chance they come together, float together for some time, and time comes they become separate. So our family life is also the same way. We come to our family members, run some time together, and when time comes, we have no choice to be separate. Everything that we see in these existences is temporary. Nothing is permanent. This building was not here 100 years ago, and it won't be here in the same fashion. Everything is temporary. Our body is temporary, it decays as we get older and older. So it's very nice that we imbibe some of the instructions of the Lord Sri Krishna that he has mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita to understand the goal of life. Why, who are we? First we should ask the question. Why we have been come in this world? What should we do to get free from those anxieties and the suffering that we go through? Is it necessary that we have to suffer? No. Krishna has given us the lot of choice to become free from all the anxieties and the suffering in this material world. We don't know which would be the last moment of our life will be. You know, someone walked out of the temple room and maybe that may be the last moment of his life. We don't know. So that's the reason Krishna has said that we should try to remember Krishna all the time and never forget. In 7th chapter, Krishna says, Yam yam vyapi swami bhavam tajanti ante kalevra tam tam evati kuntaya sadata bhavam. That whatever the consciousness that we will carry at the time of death, that consciousness of body we will receive in our next life. You know, we put so much effort buying the insurance and try to protect everything. But for our eternal soul, we are not putting that much energy to protect the soul. Maybe we may have performed a very nice pious activity in our previous life. So we are enjoying the result of that pious activity. But that doesn't mean that that result will continue in our next life. There are 8.4 billion pieces of life. And we can get the body of those pieces of life according to the actions and deeds that we perform in this life. If we totally reject the scriptures and act whimsically and don't do any good things, we may go down to backwardness where the life is, and then slowly come up. If you have done some pious activity and if you have shown some sincere desire to purify yourself, then you will attain even the human life in the next life. To execute the devotional service, to perfect our life. Because our real position or our real destination is to live the Supreme Personality of God, where Satchitananda Vigra. We are eternally existing, full of knowledge and full of bliss. We may think sometimes the situation happen in our material world that we feel very satisfied, be happy. You know, our son get graduated, so he get married and we feel happy. But this is our Acharya has mentioned that this happiness is like in the basis of Krishna. the bird is sitting, keeping their mouth open, hoping that the raindrop will come. What are the chances in Arizona that the bird will get a drop of water? So same thing in our life. We are hoping for something that we will become happy. But if we dedicate our life to the activities of the Supreme Personality Godhead, then we can remain always blissful, despite the difficulty that it may come into our life. We can see the faces of the devotees. They look very beautiful. They are always looks happy. What is the reason? They always laugh, right? And they go through the same troubles of the life, but they understand the temporary situation of this life. So, my humble request to all of you that please, when you come to the temple, the purpose of coming to the temple or visiting the holy places is to inquire about those things. Athato Brahma Jignasa. Why I have appeared in this world? What should I do in this life? Those type of questions we should inquire when we come to the pilgrimage. Then that pilgrimage becomes successful. Otherwise, if you just come, take a darshan of the deities, take prasadam. Prasadam is very powerful. I must say that prasadam is so powerful. How many of you have a deities in your home? How many of you have a deities? How many of you have a picture of Krishna in your home? Who doesn't have the deity or the pictures? Anybody? Otherwise, we would like to give you the Krishna's picture today. Why I'm saying that? That we are cooking the food every day. It's very simple that you cook the food for the Lord in a clean body. While you are cooking, you think about Krishna, that I'm preparing this food for Krishna. And you take few moments, if you have a deity or the picture, you just put the food in front of the picture and simply make the prayer that, my dear Lord, I have prayed, I have prepared this food for your pleasure. With love, you have prepared it, please accept it. Leave it for a few seconds for the Lord. Lord can eat with any of the senses because we are conditioned materially. Sometimes to understand the spiritual subjects is very difficult because we perceive according to our mentality. We think the food can be eaten only by the hand. But the Supreme Personality Godhead can perform any activity with any of his senses. So he doesn't have to extend his hand to take the food and put his mouth. He can glances over the food and he can be relishing in food. Because he's transcendental. All his senses are transcendental. So once you prepare the food, you offer to the Lord, and then he view the food as a remembrance. And when you take those prasadam, I can assure you that your family will feel very blessed. Even by doing one simple thing. Your children will well behave, they will get proper education, they will become intelligent, they will be able to differentiate what is right, what is wrong. This is the best gift we can give to our children. Because when children is going to face those difficult times in their life, we may be not here. But if we give them some solid educations in their primary life, then we don't have to worry. We are running very close to the time. So what I would like to do is for 90 seconds. All of you should close their eyes and just think about it. That Lord has done something in your life. You must have prayed one time in your life. Lord, please help me for so and so. I want to recollect that memory. I want to remember those moments that He stood behind me. For 90 seconds, please close your eyes and see and remember what God has done for you in your life. Stop. Starting now. Hare Krishna. We can see the 90 seconds can give so much pleasure. Are we allowing ourselves our time? All the external thing is consuming your time, 24 hours, what to speak of? 90 seconds. 90 seconds is nothing compared to 24 hours. Take the advantage of those moments to reunite with the Supreme Lord. Do some meditations. Try to meditate on the Supreme Personality of God. And you become so blissful. We have a control of the time. We should control our life. We should find ourselves at least 10, 15, half an hour in our life to be down and meditate and be absorbed in the thought of Krishna. And it will give you immense happiness. As we just give you the little taste for 90 seconds. Think about that if you absorb like for 10 minutes, how much peace it can bring. All those disturbances that we have been facing in the world will become very, very easy to take on. Today must be auspicious day that we came together. And when we will be again together with the same person in the same room, we don't know. But I just want to say thank you very much for your kind association. Maybe Krishna allow us to meet again and again in our life, share and exchange those of our experience for the Supreme Personality of God, and remain steadfast. We should know the goal of life, and then we have to make a plan for it. In material worlds, we have some goals and we go after the goal, and we work so hard. But everything we do materially can we take with us when we die. Everything will be lost. It has zero value. No matter how much is your bank balance. One time Mahavishnu Maharaj was visiting from India, and he was giving a class. Then as soon as the person declared that he is dead, his connection with the bank account is disconnected. Then who will laugh? The dear family members, relatives, friends, and the others. So then they will go to the funeral home to give the final homage to the person that they dealt with the whole life. Then the moments will come where all the relatives, family members, and everything will stay in the funeral home, and then the body will be taken to the last witness process, where only his son or the family member will be beside him. When the body is slid into the cremation fireplace, he's alone. His body is only with him, nobody else. And after 2-3 hours, the body is gone. So we have to learn to live our life. We have to see those moments is going to come, and we have to be careful. And this Hare Krishna moment is Prabhupada has created just to educate ourselves and be prepared so we don't get surprised. Because it says in the scripture that human form of life, so durlabha, that it's not easy to get. We, after 8.4 million pieces of life that we went through, finally we received this body. And it says that the only purpose to attain the human form of life is to create the love of God. And if we create the love of God, then what will happen? We will see in everyone's heart that Krishna is sitting in the heart. And what will happen? We will respect, we will love each other like brother and sister. And then you can imagine how the world can be if everybody inside it that understand that this is my brother, this is my sister. The whole world can get changed. And that was the mission of Srila Prabhupada. He came to the Western world to give us those opportunities. That we become Krishna conscious, whoever we meet, we share those realizations and the knowledge with the other person. So they also become a part of that happy family. So I request every one of you that please read Srila Prabhupada book. Whenever you are in this area, please come to the temple, associate with the devotees, and take advantage of this wonderful opportunity that Krishna has given us. Last, my request that only for 30 seconds, I'll request you again to close your eyes. And I don't want anything from you to know about it, But I think you just talk to the Supreme Lord yourself. Whatever you want to talk, He's a listener. If you express whatever the feeling, God can hear millions of people's prayer at the same time. He is unlimited. So I humbly request, whatever you have in your heart, feelings toward the Supreme Lord, please share with Him. Let Him know your feelings in your heart towards Him. I'll give you in 30 seconds. Time start now. Hare Krishna. Sorry that I took 3-4 minutes extra time, please forgive me. And I wish you all the best. And hope that one day we will be in the spiritual world as a brother and sister. Eternally enjoy. If we are his friends, we will be like 40, 15 years. We will never become older than 40 years. What a nice situation. We have to work a little for it. But he is so nice. He will award it for little rare opportunity. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So very thank you and appreciation, gratitude to both His Grace RadhaKrishna Prabhu and Shanti Prabhu for their association. And this will I have one more day, but we hope they will come and give us their association again. Today we had a request, we missed our japa earlier, but 2 or 3 people have requested they'd like to do the japa. So we are going to go ahead and do a round of japa if you don't mind while they're setting up the tables for prasadam. So I'm going to request, would you like to lead it? So Damodar, would you like to lead a round of japa? Please move forward, and we're going to dedicate this to all the Phoenix and the Houston Yatras. Today's japa round for the Houston and Phoenix Yatras. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.